That was better than the TikTok.
I know, right? This is Functional Gentlemen. We're your hosts, Roy Gravis, Bucky Pender, back in producer's corner, the good brother himself.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Juan Kanika,
Hey,
John Marble.
Hey.
How ya doing?
How you doing?
Jesus Christ, he went Medea. Shit.
It's finally Friday.
I know, right? This has been a mother of a Friday, by the way.
Yes.
Too. I'm just saying. Just saying. But everybody's here.
We're here.
We were all somewhat on time. I think I was running the latest, but it's okay.
We were all running a little bit late.
It's fine. No big deal. Fantastic. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and forgive our audience right now because I could not find a whole lot of info on this cigar.
So this is going to be raw and uncut.
Raw and uncut. Eddie Murphy raw.
Eddie Murphy style.
Yes, Eddie Murphy raw. That's what it's going to be because I could not find anything on this cigar.
Well, I'm excited now.
So this is the Nacogdoches Cigar Company's house blend, which is blended by Blanco Cigars out of, I think, Seminole, Florida.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Blanco cigars, are they fairly large?
They're kind of a smaller, they're kind of like, let me compare it to something I've done.
Is it like Bocock size or?
It's a little bigger than Bocock. If Bocock and Kiefer 1901 had a baby, I feel like Blanco would be that baby.
I got you.
So like I said, I have no remote clue what this is going to taste like.
That's okay.
I have no remote clue on the wrapper, the binder, nothing. I am doing this one strictly out of tribute for the fact that Nacogdoches Cigar Company recently lost their owner. If y'all saw it on our Facebook page, we follow them, so we're going to pour one out for that dude. I forget his name. I think you and I actually saw him when we
didn't
were
get a
in
chance to
NAC.
talk
We didn't get a chance to talk to him because he was super busy, but he was in the house that night.
Yes. Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm doing this one as a tribute one. I don't know a whole lot about it.
Cool.
But, hey, I like raw.
Let's dive right in.
I like raw and uncut sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to go in raw dogging.
That's a good V. Check that V cut out, though.
You sure?
Yeah, I mean, we got fat bottom Betties and we got all kinds
Flying
of stuff.
cigars.
There's a V cut. I got
Mine is his.
You're volunteering his own cigars?
Not mine, it's his.
I got a fat bottom Betty. That's one of the, five crazy bitches?
5 yummy bitches.
I keep calling, I think I've called them crazy every time.
Yummy bitches.
Yummy.
I like yummy.
It's the yummy yum. Yeah, baby.
Ooh. That is a very airy draw.
Yeah?
Yeah. I like it. Not gonna lie, for a house.
You have a cutter back there, Joe?
I have a bunch of cutters right there.
him.
No, they're all there.
Yeah, they're all up here. I have cutters. I have lighters.
If I throw this, it's going to hit you in the head, and it's going to hurt.
Yeah, please don't throw that. That's the heavy one. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God, equipment.
It's good!
We're tossing around metal objects, ladies and gentlemen. Leather. I get a little leather. It's not bad. It's kind of...
What you thinking? I feel like you got something up there, and you just don't know how to put it into words.
I'm thinking probably a little bit of... I feel like this is a Mexican San Andreas wrapper.
Okay.
I feel like it is a Dominican binder and filler. Mm-hmm. I feel like if I had to rate it, it's about a 3 on the Cigar Roy Gravis scale. I was fixing like Cigar International, but they didn't tell me dick on this one. So I like it. It's good. It's a good size. It's not an overly long cigar. So I feel it's a good one. I like it. That's my critique on it. I do not remember the price, unfortunately. But it's pretty good. It's got a good aroma on it.
Okay.
It's got a very
Okay.
It's got a very woodsy.
I got a whiff of it. Yeah, it's very woodsy.
It's very woodsy. I kind of like it. It's a cross between, I don't want to say cedar because it's not really cedar, but it's like fir, like light fir.
I was kind of thinking like pecan.
No, I don't think it's pecan. I mean, it could very well be, but
we could probably debate a type of wood all night long.
No, yeah, that's what she said.
As long as it's not a morning wood.
All night long.
But it's real airy. It's a good clean draw. So far, it's got a good ash going on with it, so you can't.
I'm just gonna go
fault
ahead
that
and
one.
give your audience a warning.
Yeah.
I've had a crap day, and you have caught me on a day that I'm gonna be stupid.
Sweet.
And I'm gonna be stupid with
I like
no
it.
remorse.
I like it.
Fantastic.
I like it. You gotta love it. You gotta love a producer that's just jumping right in.
I feel like
no
Whoopi
fucks
Goldberg
given.
from Sister Act. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Exactly.
That's what I feel like right now.
I mean, it's to the point where John flat out admitted, I forgot it was Friday and we're doing a show.
Yeah.
John basically walked in and was like, you know what? I know we can't use certain terms on this because of copyright things, but damn it, I'm a bourbon badger and I'm going to take what I want.
That's right.
That's right.
So, I mean, kudos to the bourbon badger himself.
I don't know whose it is.
So in the last
It's not
couple
mine.
of, no, it's got to be this one.
I got a huge whiff of like dark chocolate from
That's-
somebody's.
It's
Yeah,
It's the sweetness in this.
it's probably the fat bottom Betty's that y'all are going. I get no sweet whatsoever because Blanco doesn't do like what Betty does. Literally doesn't do what Betty does.
You don't do what Betty do.
Nope, they don't. But I mean, for the most part, like I said, hey, can you kick the humidifier up to high?
For favor?
Yeah, because I mean, I just looked at the screen and you
I
can
know.
see like.
Black, or yeah,
You can see, like,
it's black
smoke.
on the green screen.
Well, no, I'm talking about the fact that you can see like the smoke in the screen.
Yeah,
So
bourbon batter needs to be a shirt.
Yes.
ask and you shall receive.
Coming soon. Thanks, Ryan.
We got Bourbon Badger. I dropped a Whiskey Wolf reference last
Yep.
week. If y'all were paying attention, I know he was because he literally derailed an entire train of thought because of the Whiskey Wolf. Sometimes you just gotta howl about a good whiskey. I mean,
You don't need a full moon.
no, you don't need a full moon. It could be a half moon,
That's right.
or a crescent moon, or no moon. You just howl because you want to howl.
That's right.
Live like you want to live, baby.
Live free.
There's a great man that said that, Chuck Berry. In one of my all-time favorite songs, My Ding-a-Ling, and we've had this reference before, but it's been a while since I've made that reference.
A
But it's
long
really
while.
good. So since Ryan's in the comments, I know Ryan smoked one of these.
Yeah.
Ryan, fill me in on some of the backstory behind
Yeah,
the
if you know anything about
Nacogdoches
this one.
Cigar Company's Blanco House Blend.
We're gonna have to like hold our cigars away because look at the green screen.
Bro,
The smoke is like turning it black.
hey, you know why?
That's weird.
Because we're from the smoke. And not only are we from the smoke, we want the smoke.
We want this. No, we don't. I ain't trying to fight. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
God, did you see that cloud? I just... Jesus, that's
It's
funny.
too funny.
That's way too funny.
Shit. Okay, so
Yeah.
and some final thoughts.
Final
Because
thoughts.
I would love to hear what Ryan has to say
I would
about it
too.
too.
I'd love his critique on it. I like I said, I feel it's a San Andreas, a Mexican San
Oh, we
Andreas.
just went like gray.
Yeah,
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah,
Why do we look like that?
I don't know.
We're making on the fly adjustments.
On the
guys.
fly adjustments. Yep, it's one of them Fridays.
Yeah, buddy.
I got on khaki pants.
My God, on khaki
Sadie
pants.
Hawkins dance. In my khaki pants.
Yep, Sadie.
Hey, there we are.
Hey, I got
Look,
some color.
We got a little bit of color, guys. Whoop, whoop. Blanco makes a great cigar. Lots of leather and dark chocolate. Maybe it was yours that I got a
That's
little
what
bit of.
I was fixing. I'm trekking with him
from.
on the leather. I
Leather?
get leather. Sorry, it's been a day. I get more dark coca than dark chocolate because there is a slight difference. Coca's a little more bittersweet, where most
Okay.
chocolates are semi-sweet.
Right.
So that's just my palate. Like I said, it could be total difference. The ash on it though, it's ashing pretty
Yeah,
good.
it is.
And like I said, it's super like it's probably one of the.
Do you remember what the ring gauge was on that one?
Because
it's not very long.
I want to say it was a
But
5
it's a
by 48.
That sounds about right.
So,
See, I was close because I gave it a 3.
2 or 3 in strength. Yeah.
Yeah,
would you say it has a nice white ash?
it does have a nice white ash,
Yeah.
but I would not say. Well, I'm gonna hold that one for later. Yeah, I was gonna.
Okay.
I was gonna drop a reference that I hadn't dropped since episode 1.
Oh. Oh.
It's good. Like I said, it's good. I do not. I want to say it was around. I want to say it was close to the same price as what the Knuckle Busters were.
Oh, okay.
That I did a couple weeks ago.
So, I guess, kind of to wrap it all up, if you're at Nacogdoches Cigar Company and you're picking out some cigars you want for your humidor, would this be one that you would purchase again?
Oh, for sure.
No, I mean, obviously the namesake is kind of cool to have in your cigar because we love those guys over
Well,
at
not just
Nacogdoches
that.
Cigar
I mean,
Company.
Blanco itself is a reputable cigar maker.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. First and foremost, they make a good product. Are they going to contend with like the Oscar Valadares and stuff like that? No.
Right.
They're not. But they're doing good things out of Seminole, Florida.
Right.
So, I mean, which is kind of off the beaten path if you go in the realm of cigars, because most of your big cigar manufacturers are in that Tampa, Miami, that section of Florida. St. Petersburg, in that area. So, for them to be doing this out of Seminole is... It's pretty good. Not too bad.
Cool.
Crack the door just for a second. I want to see something just out of curiosity.
See if it kind of...
See if it dissipates quickly because...
Well, the wind's blowing, so I don't want to let go.
Oh, yeah. Don't let go.
I'll just hold it. We're good.
Don't
let go, Jack.
let go.
There's not enough room on this giant door.
I know, right?
That I only take up a quarter of.
If we're talking about... I feel that was a gimmick move. I really do.
That was just a bitch move.
Well, that too, but, I mean, it is what it is.
Oh, man.
So, just for a little side note, Cigar Aficionado released its top 10 cigars of 2022. Okay. I have some of that list.
All right.
And
you going 10?
I'm starting with the ones I have because I got an email from Cigars Direct that had some of them in it. I do not have the complete list, but number 10 was a Arturo Fuentes Rare Pink Sophisticated Hooker. That's what the name of the cigar. That's what the name of the cigar is. Y'all can Google these at any time you want to. Number 9 was the Romeo y Julieta Reserve Real Nicaraguan Churchill. Okay. Number 7 was the My Father La Bijou 1922 Churchill. Yeah, Blanco. See, Blanco was at the Nacogdoches Cigar Fest, according to Ryan. Number 6 surprised me, and I've had number 6.
Okay.
I can vouch for how good it is. Alec Bradley's Black Market.
Yes.
Churchill was the number 6 rated cigar of 2022.
I talked to you about that.
Yes, you talked to me about the Black Market.
That's interesting that one was in the top 10.
Yeah.
Just because it seems like one of those cigars that are readily available.
Oh, it's very readily available.
Literally
you can
everywhere.
find it anywhere from a gas station humidor to...
Because I bought mine at Longhorn Liquor here in Silsbee, and they don't have a humidor. They just have like that little box.
They have a countertop, yeah.
And that's where that's the first time I'd ever seen it. But after talking to you, I realized how readily available it was.
The Oliva Series 5 Churchill was the number 5 cigar. And this one is really, I'm a fan of this manufacturer itself. The Pink Line there's some great name cigars. I'll have to look more into the Pink Line, Ryan, on that one. Because that's the first I've ever heard of the Pink Line is that one.
Really?
Yeah. But that's not saying a whole lot because I don't necessarily do a lot of, like Arturo Fuentes to me is kind of the Hemingway short stories. That's an Arturo Fuentes.
Okay.
So the number 2 one, and that's the last one, that's the highest rated one that I have on this particular list that was emailed to me, the Rocky Patel 60.
Ooh, nice.
Which is a fairly new cigar, and Ryan can attest for that. Rocky Patel puts out pretty good stuff, so that's my little synopsis of it. I'm sure if I dove into Cigar Aficionado's list, I could pull the entire list. And I may, as a matter of fact, click here for the whole list. So let me go back and add some stuff in it. Ooh, it still doesn't. Oh, those are the ones that they offer. Okay. I see why they did that.
Yeah.
I see why they did that. Oh, wait a minute. No, hang on. So apparently number 8 was the Perdomo 1964 Anniversary Principal. Was the number 8 one. Okay, let's see. Number 3, of course. Number 3 was the Davidoff Nicaraguan Diadema, I think is how you pronounce it.
Okay.
Diadema, however you pronounce it.
That thing.
Yeah, that thing. That thing right there. What else I got? It does not have the number 1, though. So apparently this is all the ones that Cigars Direct sell, is why they sent this list. Okay.
So since we're on to lists.
Oh, V is in the letter, not as in the numeral number. Okay. So
So V.
So it's the Oliva Series V. Yeah.
So since you did a list.
Yeah.
Whiskey Advocate released their top 20 whiskeys of 2022.
Gotcha.
I'll do the top 10 kind of like you did.
Fantastic.
Number 10.
Yep.
Nelson Brothers Whiskey.
Okay.
Reserve Bourbon.
I've heard some mixed things about. They're out of Nashville, I think, from what I've read. I haven't really gotten my hands on any of their stuff, but I hear good things about it. I mean, obviously, for them to make was that Whiskey Advocate? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. For them to
Which
make
is a really highly
that's
respected
probably
list.
one of the highest lists you can get on. So kudos to Nelson Brothers out of Nashville.
I'm going to totally screw this up.
Okay.
Brooklotic, 8-year-old Islay Barley 2013.
Is it spelled ISLAY?
Yes.
So I'll give you a hint. In the Scotch world, that's pronounced Isla.
Isla?
It's an Isla Scotch.
So Brooklotic, 8-year, that thing Barley 2013.
Okay.
Number 9.
Yep.
Number 8, dang it. Lima Vadi Single Barrel, number 39.
Okay.
I have this one, and I actually did it the other night. Number 7, Blue Note Juke Joint, uncut, unfiltered.
Juke Joint's not a bad one.
No, not at all. Number 6, Middleton Very Rare, 2022.
Interesting.
It's out of Ireland.
Okay. So it would be is it listed as a Scotch or is it listed as a?
It's no Irish whiskey.
Okay. Fantastic.
Number 5, Westward Cask Strength, out of Oregon.
I think Mike had that. Yeah, we talked about that one. We
About
actually saw the
Westward.
bottle here.
Yeah, we talked about Westward last week.
Okay.
Number 4, Dewar's 12-year, out
Okay.
of Scotland.
Okay.
So that's interesting. So blended Scotch whiskey, aged 12 years, double aged in first fill bourbon casks.
Nice.
Number 3, Barrel Vantage. So Barrel Vantage is kind of a cool one because it's a blend of straight whiskeys. It's like
So they do
Tennessee.
kind of like Bourbon Pursuit then. Okay.
This one is Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee.
Okay.
And then they age it, or they finish it in Mizunara, French, and toasted American oak barrels.
Okay.
Number 2 is Redbreast Kentucky Oak Edition.
We had that on the show last week with Mike Wright.
And the surprise number 1,
If it's what I think you're fixing to tell me, I was shocked.
Jack Daniel's Bonded.
See, I was shocked with that one.
That is a huge shocker because that bottle, that's a $30 bottle.
Yeah,
that got number 1 whiskey of 2022.
I guarantee you talking about gimmicks, I wonder what it does to the price of it now that that list came out.
it'll all of a sudden
I have a
become-
question about that though.
Yeah.
So do they go off of different criteria? Like, is it sales?
There's-
Is it
They give a score. Whiskey Advocate gives
They
a score.
score it.
Right.
They score
And
every
it was the
whiskey,
highest scoring whiskey of 2022.
Okay. So this is stuff that they taste and they score it.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
what they do for their 20, they do from what I understand, and I may be wrong, correct me on it. They do every whiskey that is released in the 2022 calendar year.
Yes.
Is what they do.
So their kind of little background thingy on it is our top 20 is a selection of whiskeys worthy of your attention. This list includes great values that might otherwise be overlooked, whiskeys that are best in class for their style, and highly accomplished bottles you should be looking for. Most importantly, each of these whiskeys generates excitement and marks a highlight across a year of tasting.
So yeah, they base it off everything that's released in 2022.
Okay.
That's how they do theirs. Which kudos to them. I mean, it's a good list.
It's
It's a very good list. It's a little too
And if you,
Scotch heavy for me, but I get it.
which I mean,
So-
you got to think Scotch is probably the most popular
It is
whiskey
Yes.
ever.
Yeah. No, it is, and
With the amount of people that
I think
drink it
it's
in
been
Scotland
around the
and-
longest too. So I think it's
Scotch.
Scotch.
I was just really surprised at Jack Daniel's Bonded being number
Yeah,
one.
that's a shocker.
That's a little bit of a surprise. I dropped my ash.
Hell, I think mine's got. I don't know what's going on with it.
That's not supposed to happen till you're 60.
You get Kermit the Frog ass.
Yeah.
Hi, home Kermit the Frog here. Interesting.
All right.
So that was 2 top 10 lists.
2 top 10 lists. Look at us,
Man.
guys. We're fantastic.
It's still got a Fab 4.
I know.
Ooh.
Do we?
I don't know. We'll find out.
I think we
guess.
may have skipped that one.
I think we may have too.
If you think of one during the show, blurt it out, and we'll
Okay.
figure it out during the show.
So tell me about this
Top 4 banana cream pies.
this bottle sitting on the table,
That's a very specific
I
pie.
know, right?
because that happens to be one of my favorite words ever.
Brimstone?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not. There's religious connotation to it.
So
But
for those of you that can't read the bottle at home, John just preluded to it, I
Yes,
guess.
let's go ahead and dive in.
So tonight, the drink of the week for this week is Balcones's Brimstone.
It is 106 proof.
Yes.
Balcones, as we've all talked about on numerous occasions, is out of Waco,
I
Texas.
have a love affair with Balcones.
Me, you, and Mike Wright all
Yes.
named Balcones our number 1
Yes.
distillery.
Yes.
So
and I've never, and I unlike Mike Wright, have never stepped foot in Balcones, but I hope
the amount of expressions they have, just the overall taste profile.
See what happens
what
when
they're
you get
doing.
butane. Look at that.
Look at that. Very nicely done. You're not burning a single bit of it. So this is, like John said, Balcones Brimstone. So this is 100% blue corn whiskey that's then smoked with sun-baked Texas scrub oak.
Oh.
And they impart that smokiness into the bottle on a proprietary secret process.
So what is a scrub oak?
That's a very good question, sir.
I feel that's kind of gimmicky.
I'm gonna look it up.
It kind of plays it.
That's
So
an information.
that was kind of the big reason we chose this one,
Right.
Because it does play into our topic of the evening, and we had some really good reactions from our post just yesterday on this topic. I thought we had some really good feedback. There was
Yes.
a lot of things that it allowed me to dive into. Cause
Shout out to our fans.
it's great to hear feedback like that because you don't always, sometimes you're just like diving into it, whatever you think is fun, but it's really cool to be able to get reactions like that from our fans.
Oh, for sure. No
Okay.
doubt.
So, commonly known as bear oak or scrub oak is
Okay.
because the actual name is Quercus something.
You go, boy.
Yeah, is a small shrubby oak native to the eastern United States and southeastern Canada. Its range extends in the United States from Maine to North Carolina,
Okay.
with reports of a few populations north of the international frontier in Ontario. The name Ilsifolia means
Yep.
holly-leaved.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Fantastic. Oh, let's see what I can get here.
So I've heard a lot of reports on this one that, hello, how you doing?
How you doing? That sounded delicious.
This reminds people, and I've heard it several times, of like a campfire
There you go.
found in Hill Country.
I think Mike referred to it as a candied campfire.
Yeah,
Have your
like a
Glencairn.
candy campfire. I've seen some reviews that say something like basically a barbecue pit whiskey. So I mean, there's a lot of fire and
I'm gonna let
smoky
it breathe for a little bit just to see what.
on this one.
Kinda
So I'm
does
excited
to
to
it.
try it.
Me too. I'm really looking forward to it. I love the coloration. I love the dark,
This thing is super dark.
super duper dark. It almost reminds me of Shinerbach dark. Which, by the way, if any in our fans know where I can
Yes.
find the Texas
Texas
Balcones
Bach.
Texas Bach, I am so looking for it. Scrub oak is the oak found in the hill country. Yes,
Pretty cool.
wasn't paying attention.
I didn't realize scrub oak was a type of oak. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat too when I did my.
And I think it's
Little
kind of
bit of
cool that
research.
the thing is it says it's that one word means holly leaves, which when you think about holly leaves, what do you think about?
You think about Christmas?
Exactly.
Fantastic.
But I thought this one was kind
It's
of
got a
fun
good
because it
nose
plays.
on it.
Yeah, it's got a really,
It's got
really,
a really
good
good
nose.
nose. I want to see what Balcones has to say from the back.
Yeah,
of the
I know
bottle
we
real
often like to go into that. So if you'd like to read it.
quick. Oh, huh. So you want me to tell you the funny thing about the oak? Apparently, aged at least 1 day in oak. Literally what it says.
Okay, interesting.
Literally what it says. It says this one-of-a-kind whiskey is smoked with sun-baked Texas scrub oak using our secret process. The result is a whiskey full of fresh, youthful corn, light fruit notes married with a bold smokiness. Whether you like smoky whiskeys or just have a pennage, I think that's how you pronounce that. For big new flavors, Brimstone is sure to be a memorable pour. Aromas of Maza, Texas campfire, and powdered sugar backed by stone fruit, peppery spice, and mint. Bold yet balanced, Brimstone is yet another Texas original from Balcones.
Oh,
Fantastic.
now wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Read that comment.
Yeah, but
That's not gonna happen. Come on, man.
Oh, I'm sure that'll happen. Because
All right, so it's got a really
I feel
good
there's
nose.
one that you and I talked about that Balcones makes that you would like.
The one.
The single, the single malt, the one. Yeah. Good on the nose.
It's very smoky.
It's so good, though. It's so good.
You can almost taste like that, like char, like not firewood, but like there's a char.
I feel like they charred this on 4 or 5. Like literally.
Like there's a
like I know
darkness
they
to
probably
it.
didn't, but I feel like they charred the shit out
But
of that barrel.
there's some kind of dark, that whatever it is, there's definitely a darkness there.
It's super dark. I feel that's my jam.
And I mean,
That's a good one.
a lot of on the back end, I mean, you get a lot of that what you expect, like caramel. There's some vanilla, but it's all like it feels dark.
It's dark. It's deep and dark, is what it is. It's a deep, dark hole where hellfire and brimstone reside. I like it. It's very good. I rate it pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. If I had to rate it, I can give you a rating on it. Just because I know when we do this stuff, I kind of like the dark, higher proof. Like I said, I start out at like 95.
It's a little nutty.
I don't really, kind of, almost like pecan.
Maybe because it's got a little bit of dryness.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious.
You're gonna test it.
Yeah. Oop. Hey, I hear myself.
Yeah, apparently we got some comments and some likes and whatnot. I was checking everything out. Interesting.
All right.
It's good. Not gonna lie. It's really good.
And so
Hey, I
a little
told you.
bit.
Hey, we want the smoke. I feel we got the smoke tonight.
We got the smoke. So
we got the smoke.
I mean, that's a Texas summer night right there in a glass. Mm-hmm. It's got a good medium finish. Like it doesn't linger super long, and it's got a little bit of I know we call it a Kentucky hug, but
No,
I mean, it's got that, a little bit of burn in your chest. It lingers for just long enough for you to go back and get another sip.
that is so good.
And so what's funny about this is I chose this as part of our topic this evening.
Right.
Because I really wanted it to be, like, I wanted to pick on Balcones a little bit. Because we love them so much. It's kind of like I can make a fat joke because I'm a fat guy.
Okay. I was wondering where you're going with that. I was like, please don't offend Balcones.
No. Well, and I wanted to pick on them a little bit because
Okay.
we do love everything that they do. I don't think we've ever said a bad word about them.
No.
So I wanted to pick on them a little bit.
Okay.
I wanted it to be, and let's just dive right into it. I wanted it to be a gimmick.
Yeah.
Like I didn't. There's no way it tastes like smoke. There's no way it tastes like a campfire or a barbecue pit.
It does.
You dive into it. Hey.
How's it with cigar smoke? It's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I think I let mine go out again.
We talk too much.
We do talk too much. Yep, that's fine. I can fix it. I can fix it real quick. Not that big of a deal. Oh, you're gonna smoke it? Smoke it?
Just for a second. I'm gonna let it air out a little bit.
Oh, not me. I'm fixing to really get it.
So puff, puff, sip. So, what's fun about this is now I can get that powdered sugar, creamy campfire. I mean, granted, mine's a lot sweeter end of the spectrum. So this is a really fun pairing because this is sweet, this is smoky.
See, to me, this draws more of the spice from this.
Yeah.
When you smoke and
Right.
Yeah. No, it's good.
But this is fun because, like I said, it's sweet, it's smoky. It's kind of that, like a sweet barbecue sauce on a brisket type, or some ribs or something.
Speaking of brisket, I had a pretty good one from my company's
Yeah.
Christmas, I guess, lunch, you'd call it. We had Papa's out of Houston. It had a good char to it. You would have liked the char on the outside of it. It was really charred.
We did a brisket too. We had ours from James and John. It's a little food truck over on 11th Street.
11th Street, yeah. I've passed it
Really
before.
good.
The Sons of Thunder.
Huh?
The Sons of Thunder.
Biblical reference.
Oh.
Oh.
So, have y'all ever actually looked up where Balcones got his name?
I have.
I was fixing to say, I have not.
If you ask me, I'm not going to be able to tell
It's
you.
actually kind of cool.
Okay.
So,
Elaborate, sir.
Balcones got its name from what is called the Balcones, which is It's named after the Balcones fault line. It's the visible demarcation that runs north to south through Texas and dramatically delineates Waco's topography with soaring limestone cliffs and a marked difference in ecosystems.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
And it's also where the Spanish built their first missions
Right,
along
yeah.
that line.
Yeah.
So, which they called them the Balcones.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Very
Look
cool.
at you.
I was looking it up because I was curious. I was like, is that a last name?
What kind of what is
you know?
that?
And
No, because from what I understand, their master distiller's last name is pronounced Hempstead.
Yeah.
Jared Hempstead is their master distiller.
But I kind of like it because they give a little history and backstory of Texas,
Right.
as long as, as well as creating really amazing whiskey.
No, for sure.
sure.
So-
It's. I'm telling you.
I haven't had
I just wanted to pick on them a little bit.
Right.
I mean, you can still put it in that gimmick category.
Yeah.
It's smoked with Texas.
Yeah, but it's not
Rub
like
Oak.
super gimmicky. I mean, it's gimmicky, but it's not.
Right, because it's just and to kind of elaborate a little bit on what Ryan said, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Isla.
Yeah, the Isla
The
Scotch.
Isla Scotch
Yeah.
is mainly peated.
Yeah.
Which, if you
Right.
know, peat is the decaying
Moss.
dirt moss buildup.
Peat moss, yeah.
And then they smoke their grains, the barley, with that to dry it and allow it to.
I wonder if somebody
And
would
that's what
ever
gives it the
smoke
smokiness.
our grains. If you did a Texas whiskey, if you would smoke it with Spanish moss, what it would turn out like.
I don't know. I know there's some companies. There's a couple different companies out there doing peated bourbon.
Right, yeah. I think Balcones actually does a peated now.
I think you're right. Actually, now that I'm thinking
I
about
think
it.
Mike. I think we talked about it last week with Mike.
There's one out of like the Carolinas. There's,
Yeah, I remember you
think
mentioning that one.
Balcones.
Yeah.
So the peat is making its way in, and I kind of talked about it last week with Mike. I think the American single malt, which is a direct competitor to Scotch, is making a giant move.
I just want to know, like,
Into whiskey
in
this
the
year.
history, like, you're talking about peated moss
Right.
and stuff like that. I want to know who in the history, like, thought, hey, you know what would make this
Dig that up.
whiskey really good? Let's take this decaying moss and put it in there. Like, that kind of stuff just fascinates me.
Because you have to dig it
Hey.
out of like dried up riverbed.
Hey, one.
Yeah.
hey,
I mean-
one thing about it, it's at least organic.
Right? Like,
Like maybe you should play on that,
It's
especially here in
healthy.
America. Play on the whole peaty. It's organic,
Oh, yeah.
straight out of the earth.
You'd
Like,
have-
could you imagine how many people would?
You would have hippies lined up out the door, my friend.
that's not your weed. That's God's weed.
That's
You just-
right.
Exactly. That's God's moss.
Don't call it drugs. It's a plant. It just grows that way.
You'd have hippies lined up from here to San Antonio. I'm just
absolutely.
saying.
Release it in Austin first.
Oh, God. Keep Austin weird.
Balcones Week just gave you a great
Yes.
idea.
Just play completely on that organic thing.
Yes.
John, if you don't mind, you should be. If you can pull up the Facebook, if you'll tag Balcones in this, I said, I would. I mean, even if they just watch the last few minutes and they hear me say I wanted to pick on them a little bit because of this
Right.
whole gimmicky topic that we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I really did. I thought it played directly into what we were going to talk
I
about.
feel like it does too. I mean, it's gimmicky, but it's not too gimmicky. I get it. Speaking, hey, by the way, I just saw the Facebook pop up. Are we ever getting a shirt that has the Church of the Charred Oak on it?
I think we need to.
I think we need to too, because I mean, it's legit.
Yeah, it's really good.
Balcones is tagged. Look at that, and just like that, we got a comment down there. What we got? Oh, that's where he tagged it.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right, so Ryan,
Oh,
if
wait
you're-
a minute. What's right underneath it?
It does it twice.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's dumb.
So Ryan, if you're still with us, so I do enjoy it. So maybe the next time we all get together, you may have to throw a scotch in our little.
I'm not
mix.
gonna lie. To me, I feel like at some point we need to do Balcones' actual peated. I feel like we need to. After this, I
It's
feel
not
like
my
we need-
natural next step. I'm not.
Hey,
I can't do. I'm not gonna enjoy it.
you got to think on the
There's
fly.
a mindset thing there. I'm not gonna enjoy it. I don't enjoy scotch.
Says the guy who used to only drink vodka.
That's what I thank you.
You
You
hush
took the
your
words
poor
right out.
mouth.
You took the words right out of my mouth on that
Shut up, John.
one. Says the guy who only used to drink clear liquor,
Yeah.
and now you
Whatever,
drink
guys.
dark liquor.
Whatever. You don't know me. So, do we want to dive into the topic?
Bite the pillow, Bucky.
I do that. We already had this conversation, Justin. I do that enough. That's why my neck hurts.
Bite the pillow.
If the sales department would stop screwing the service department, we'd be all right. but I bend over and take it every time.
I really hope your boss is watching.
That is my boss.
That is your boss.
That is my boss.
That's the whole reason why we make that reference. That is his boss.
We can have a little fun.
Yeah,
well,
just a little bit.
I'm off the clock.
Yeah.
Does Texas Marine have a social media policy?
Justin,
they don't,
Justin,
they do
don't
now.
Don't repost. Oh crap, he's watching. I was gonna talk about our after party Christmas party, but never mind.
After party Christmas party?
Yeah, the parts and service department did a little. It was at 5. It was after 5 o'clock.
No, don't feel bad. I can tell you right now, my guys started at like 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
The crew in Houston started at 2. I'll just say it like that.
and it wasn't so. And let me say this first and foremost: I always will respect anybody's decision. I will always encourage everybody to drink responsibly.
Yes.
And I will never allow somebody more than what they should have, because I don't believe anybody should drink and drive.
Right.
Absolutely.
So stamp that, put it down. But and I'll tell everybody. So I brought my parts and service department on a whiskey journey.
I'm curious.
So I had a bunch of. So I poured a bunch of little 2-ounce samples, like I do.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Like I do for my whiskey advent calendar, and everybody just got like the smallest little sip, and they all got to pick a sample that they could take home. But what I did was I walked them through. So I started with Buffalo Trace at 90 proof. It is a quintessential Kentucky straight bourbon.
Yes.
And then from there we bumped up to Pursuit United, which
Okay.
is a higher proof at 108.
It's blended.
And it's a blended
Yes.
bourbon from Kentucky, Tennessee, and New York.
Yes.
And then from there, I went into a weeded bourbon, Weller Special Reserve,
Okay.
to give them that softness, kind of change your palate a little bit.
Yep.
And then I jumped all the way up to Blue Note, uncut, unfiltered, which is 122 proof.
Okay.
So that's that straight out the barrel. This is what it's going to taste like.
Straight out your
hit
mama's
'em.
kitchen.
Right.
I got you.
And actually, they all pretty much enjoyed that one. And then I
Of
went
course.
to Knob Creek 12 year for an
Okay.
aged whiskey.
It's a good choice. I'm not gonna lie.
And then from there, I went to Still Austin
Okay.
to give it that Texas kick,
Got you.
just so you can see the difference with Texas. And then I went to Redwood Empire, which was a suggestion by Mike Wright at
That's
Longhorn
out of
Liquor.
California, yeah.
That one's out of California. This was the Emerald Giant, which is a rye whiskey. So
Okay.
I wanted everybody to get that peppery spice.
Gotcha.
To know what the difference between regular bourbon and then a rye whiskey is.
Okay.
And then from there, I went to Garrison Brothers Honey,
Okay.
which is an infused whiskey.
Yeah.
So they kind of got the full gamut.
Okay.
And that was a little bit of my whiskey journey, to walk them through the different stages, the different ages, the different ways you can do it.
So I'm curious, did you break it down by parts and service, or did you just kind of like poll the group in general?
Well, technically, I'm the only parts employee at
Oh.
Texas Marine, and
Oh.
everybody else is service. But it's the parts and service department. We're a team.
Okay.
But
You're the only parts person. Oh, he missed his in. Oh, you're in
That's
trouble.
not the question I want to know. I want to know, are you hiring? Because you out there giving whiskey samples. I want to be there next Christmas.
But everybody got to choose a bottle. Eric, kind of our right hand
Excellent
man.
selections. Look at that.
Look at you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Give him applause. He deserves it.
I feel whoa. I feel like for people
This is why we
getting
put
into
cases
it,
on cell phones, ladies and gentlemen.
because everybody at work, they know what we do, and I wanted them to experience bourbon and whiskey as a lot of beginners, and be able to experience the full gamut of what it can bring, because they admitted every one of them tastes different, every one of them felt different.
Okay.
And I thought that was really cool, and I wanted to be able to kind of walk them through all of that, and it was actually fun for me to be able to do that, because this is something I really do enjoy, and this is something I've got a passion for, and I've researched a lot. So to be able to walk a group of people through a tasting like that was really fun for me.
It's actually really, yeah, it sounds really fun. I missed it. Where was my invite?
You were working, so well you were driving through traffic at
Yeah.
that point.
Maneuvering through the traffic like I'm Tracy McGrady.
And just to touch on his little comment,
Comment.
Justin's.
Okay.
This fella looked me dead in the eyes today and said, Old Smoky cookie dough whiskey is good.
Get the fuck out. He really said that? Yeah. Justin. I don't know what you've been drinking. I don't know what water you've been sipping on from Baton Rouge, my friend, but no. That's going to go into my rant on gimmicks because of the fact that I think flavored whiskey is an abomination. Like, I don't know how in the world Screwball got so damn famous.
It's so popular.
Oh my God. And then I saw another one that was cookie dough. What the hell is wrong with people in the damn flavored whiskey? If you can't drink whiskey straight, don't drink the shit at all.
Is he an LSU fan?
He is.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
He got real quiet.
No comment.
He's like,
I gotta meet your boss.
We're working on that.
oh, is he coming in after the first of the year?
No.
Remind me
We're
when he
still
gets
working
here
on
so
it.
I can wear my jersey.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
God, LSU.
We have a topic in here, and I've already mentioned it. Do we want to dive into
sure,
that?
let's dive into it. 'Cause I felt like I just opened it up pretty much. Flavored whiskey to me is a
So
gimmick.
let's start there. Flavored whiskey.
Bird Dog is a gimmick company.
Are you? Well, and we can. I'll vouch for this on Bird Dog with flavored whiskey, and a fan of the show had actually commented infused whiskey is where he went with it, but I'll go a step further and say flavored whiskey.
Okay.
With Bird Dog, we tried their whatever reserve.
We tried their regular,
blah, blah,
just
blah,
plain
whatever it was.
offering. Yeah.
It wasn't that good.
No, it was not.
So let me ask you this:
It was a step above Redneck Riviera, in my opinion.
Are all companies that are doing a flavored or infused whiskey just covering up bad whiskey?
I feel like it's a way for them to generate revenue off of whiskey that they can't sell. Is what I feel like. You take your lower end stuff, you add a little flavor to it, all of a sudden it's marketable and sellable.
You're right.
That's just my.
I'd be curious to know if Bird Dog started with regular whiskey or if they went straight flavor. Like if they didn't make it in the whiskey world and we're like, let's throw some peaches and some pecan and some.
Because I mean, they even
syrup.
have like chocolate chip. And
They got everything. I mean, they got it all.
all kinds
peanut
of flavors.
butter.
Yeah, peanut butter.
I have the
chocolate
peanut butter
chip.
and I can't do it.
No.
It sits on my shelf.
Hey, P&G is
I
up
didn't
after
see that.
one. Look at that.
Whoa.
They scored a touchdown in the first 56 seconds.
Nice.
Really? Nice.
I hope they do it just to represent the 409.
For sure.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, don't get me wrong. I kind of wish our, Silsbee Tigers were there, but
Yeah.
we all know
And
about
Ryan,
that.
since you're
but
listening,
but in the same thing, I'm kind of glad they didn't because did you see the
Carthage whooped that
Oh,
ass.
Carthage!
42 to
Carthage
nothing.
smoked Wimberley
Really?
like
I
it
didn't
wasn't.
re- I didn't
it
see
was
it.
42 to nothing.
Just
Smoked.
off of Ryan's comment, I'd be curious of Ryan's
It's a market share
comments
grab.
on
Yeah. Bird Dog had a plain whiskey, but it's pretty bad.
And we tried a plain whiskey.
Yes,
I
we
don't
tried
know
one
if
of their
it's a
plain
new one, an old
offerings.
one, if they started out with plain whiskey and then switched to flavor or whatever. And like I was saying, Ryan, I'd be curious of your comments on flavored whiskey. Are you a fan? Are you not? Is there some that you can do and some you can't?
I can't do
but
any. I mean, I can do like,
I've
now don't
tried.
get me wrong, I can do the quote unquote, if you're going infused whiskey, to me, like the way people are doing with the finishing part, that's kind of an infusion to
So
me.
that's my third part of this
Okay.
question. So just real quick, since we're
Okay.
kind of on the flavored and honey or flavored and infusing.
Okay.
So Garrison Brothers Honeydew is infused with honey,
Okay.
not flavored. Not,
I feel like I could get down with that one. Because, I mean, to
And
me,
I
I
enjoy
liked
it.
what was it that Mike had? The Balcones that they did that one time?
yes.
I liked that. Not
Yeah.
going to lie. So if Garrison Brothers did anything close to that with their infusion of honey,
Right.
I think that I could get down with that.
So, coming from a guy who doesn't, I mean, okay, here's what I'm going to say. If I wake up in the morning and I'm like, man, I'm going to tie one on tonight. Like, I'm going to get drunk.
Yeah.
D-Runk.
Drunk.
I'm here to get
I
drunk.
honestly don't care if it's flavored whiskey or not.
I'll tell you this, like for my own personal palate and the way my stuff operates. See, Ryan's on the same page I am,
Yeah.
but the honey, the
Right,
honey,
no, for sure.
The honeyed whiskey is a total different animal in its own
And
right.
Ryan's done one himself, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But the Lone Elm out of
Yeah.
Austin, they've done it. like I said, Garrison Brothers did a honey infused, because there's a lot that I've seen that are doing in honey barrels where they dump honey in a barrel, let it sit for so long,
Take the
dump
honey
it
out,
all
and then
out,
put the whiskey in the barrel.
right, and then
Yes.
put the whiskey in the barrel. That's really good too.
That would be an infusion, though, to me.
Would it?
I infused Buffalo Trace.
Yeah,
is
that's
he
what it
did.
was. I'm sorry.
But-
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
I say that, and in the same sentence, I would think that I'm more of a mixed drink guy. So if I'm gonna
See,
drink,
for me, the
like,
flavored whiskeys would work good for you because you are a mixed drink guy.
But you have to be careful with it, because I bought the Bird Dog peanut butter strictly for the idea of making a twist on an old fashioned.
The peanut butter old fashioned.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wanted like chocolate, like I'm thinking Reese's peanut butter cup
So
in my
I'm-
head.
so I'm
Chocolate
curious,
bitters,
okay, I'm
peanut butter
curious.
whiskey, but it was so sweet, I just couldn't drink it.
So do you
I dumped it
think
out.
that your mistake in that was going with Bird Dog's peanut butter and not Screwball's peanut butter? Because
How different can they be?
I hear theirs is not as sweet. Theirs is more of a genuine. That's just what I hear.
I've never had it. So
I
I
haven't
don't know.
either. I don't do flavored whiskeys. I'm
Right.
kind of like Ryan. I'll do the
So
like the
here's-
honey infused and stuff.
Well, here's
like that.
another question for you and anybody listening.
Okay.
Shit.
I've never had a shit infused whiskey. First of
After Any Given Sunday,
all, oh god,
give me the name of the dude,
which there's a bunch
the
of
quarterback.
Them. Oh,
Jamie Foxx?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. Thank you, Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Where?
He came out. He came out with BSB, which is brown sugar bourbon.
See, I can't get down with that. See, Ryan says Screwball's good.
Okay, maybe I need to try it.
I mean,
The-
maybe.
So, and I do have an issue. So, my big thing is finding someone who can mix drinks properly. Like, that's my biggest thing, because I've had a lot of mixed drinks that were supposed to be good, but
I can tell you right now, I don't know if she still does it or not, but Ronnie and I used to know a bartender by the name of January, and Ronnie will know it instantly when I mention the
Steaming Willie
name. If
Beeman.
he's still watching, January can mix you anything in the world.
Yeah.
Really?
Like,
And that's her name. Like, God's on the street. Her
I
first
do
name is
believe
January.
that the art of being a bartender is something that has been lost.
It's
in
a
our
lost art
generation.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's by far a lost art.
So, just kind of
What else we got in the comments? I just saw another one pop.
Oh, yeah.
steaming Willie Beeman.
Yep, Stephen Willie Baby.
I like Texas Mesquite whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay, Texas Mesquite. I can get down
So
with that.
that's going to be along the lines of Long Branch.
Yes.
Old Forester's King
yes.
Ranch.
King Ranch to me is better
Is
than
there
Long
anybody else
Branch.
that's done a mesquite?
That's the only
can't-
two that I know
Off the top
of.
of my head, I can't think of any.
See,
Yeah.
Ronnie was
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah, January was good.
Hey,
PB&J was
PB&J was Screwball and
Chambord. Okay,
interesting.
very interesting. So, just to kind of play off of what you were saying
Yeah.
before we dive into something else, if I'm going to, like you said, tie one off and get drunk.
Crown does a mesquite one.
Oh, that's right, they do. It's a.
Screw Canada. Yes, I said it.
If I'm going in specifically for that, I will go back to my vodka days.
Yeah.
And I'll just go vodka and whatever the hell
Right.
we got.
No.
So, eventually, I do have a gimmick that I want to talk to y'all about.
Okay.
but y'all go ahead.
Eventually. Okay.
So just to, and you mentioned it a while ago, the finishing. So I enjoy the idea of finishing in like rosé
I do
cask,
too, because to me it
rum
took whiskey
casks,
to a next level.
and that's what I enjoy about it. It's, and I know a lot of people have a problem with it. Like Angel's Envy puts Kentucky straight bourbon finished in
and a port wine barrel.
port
yes.
wine barrel. A lot of people have a problem with the fact that it says bourbon, because at that point it's no longer bourbon. But where do you draw the line? Because there's people that will argue Woodford Double Oak is not bourbon, even though it's a
You
new
draw,
fill and a
you
new
draw
fill.
the line when it stops making money to me, and that's and neither one of those, Woodford
But-
or Angel's Envy, is going to stop making money anytime soon.
Right. But I enjoy. So I've recently purchased and thank you, Ryan, for helping me out on this one. The rosé cask finish Penelope, which was delicious. I have the Valencia,
I guess
which
I
is a
got to get
VDN
into the
cask.
Penelope game because I think
You're
I've
gonna
only
have
had
to.
like one.
the VDN cask, which they call Valencia, is amazing.
Okay.
But I mean, there's so many good finished whiskeys that as long as you're finishing it properly, so there's a lot of debate because there's no real regulation on this whole thing. So there's been some companies that have been caught pouring port wine into a barrel that has whiskey in it and saying, "Oh no, it was just finished in a port wine barrel."
See, to me, that's more
not
infused.
right.
Yeah, to me, that's infused as opposed to
Now, if you're
finished.
aging port wine in a barrel and then you dump it all out and you
Yes.
make sure it's all out and
Yes.
then you age it in that,
Yes.
that's what I consider finishing.
Yes.
Those are enjoyable for me because I like the nuances of it.
Yeah.
It's not just Buffalo Trace on a Saturday night. It's a little different. It's fun. It's you can find different flavors in it.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that completely because that's how I feel about Angel's Envy. I mean, that's the one that started the whole, quote unquote finished thing for me because now I kind of look for finishes
I
and
really
see
do
who's
feel like they
doing
started
what.
it.
And
Yeah.
to me, they did. I mean, that's the thing.
But it's blown up over the last-
Oh, for sure, yeah, because you got people finishing and
everything.
Yes.
Sillbox. So here's a fun one. Sillbox. What was that?
That's what I'm.
Nothing.
Okay.
You cheat. You
My
cheat.
mind went somewhere else.
So
Okay.
Sillbox.
Well, I
is
mean,
an-
you can share. It's
yeah,
fine.
you're more than welcome to share.
Nothing. I'll tell
All right. So Sillbox is an online retailer for liquor.
Okay.
They're actually named after a drink, the Sillbock. So the Sillbock is, if I'm not mistaken, bourbon, triple sec, and champagne.
Okay.
Well, what they did was they took their whatever barrels they picked of bourbon, finished it in triple sec barrels, and then turned around and put it in champagne barrels.
Okay.
And finished it that way. So instead of just mixing it all together and making a drink, they finished it in each style.
Okay.
I've heard mixed reviews, but I've heard it's pretty good. So stuff like that's fun. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I get
It's a
that too.
twist.
Right. Bardstown Bourbon also makes a great finish. Okay.
Well, I don't think Bardstown Bourbon can do anything wrong right now.
No, they're
And they're about to release 3. I know
Yes.
I've already talked about it, but they're about to release next year, this upcoming year, 3 of their own distillates.
yes.
Which reminds me, I didn't really do any BFFs tonight, but
Okay.
I will, since he said that and that brought that to mind.
Okay.
Jefferson's is finally getting a, $250 million state-of-the-art distillery, and they're going to finally start distilling their own product.
Fantastic.
I'm excited about it.
Because they're aged at sea is
You're not
It's good.
gonna. You're probably not gonna see it for 4 to 6 years.
probably at least.
But at least they're moving in that direction where they're
Right.
finally gonna have their own distillate, aging in their own barrels, doing their own thing.
Yep.
Not sourcing. People say sourcing like it's a bad word. I don't think it's a bad thing, but it's really cool to see a company like that that's grown the way they have finally get a chance to do their own thing.
I would agree with it for sure. I mean, like I said, Jefferson's Aged at Sea to me is a very good whiskey. So I love
But
the fact that they're moving
In the
their
same
own
breath,
direction.
you have to admit that that's a gimmick.
Oh, it's very gimmicky because I mean,
Because
you think
too many
aged
people-
at sea. I mean, like first thing that comes to my mind is I
Salt.
see this. No,
Sea salt.
Not even that. To me, I see this damn sailboat sailing around the world with bottles of or
So-
barrels of whiskey
Yeah,
on it.
I'm pretending to be the barrel.
Right,
rocking back and
exactly.
forth on the boat.
You're built like a barrel. I'm just saying.
There's another company, and I wrote it down. Hang on, let's see. Oh, so what they're doing is they put it on a train and send it through like all 48 states and allow it to finish that way. God dang.
Okay.
That's what I was laughing at.
Yeah. Instead of finished, yeah.
Pull out game week.
He was.
That game is weak.
Yeah. Pull-out game's so weak. I got 2 kids, man. Pull-out game's kind of weak anyway. To begin with.
But yeah, so they're putting it on a train and letting it go through all 48 states and calling that finished.
I mean, I get it. I mean, you get like different climates. You get different, up, down,
Yeah.
this way, that way. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's still gimmicky.
And there was another company, and I can't remember who it was. They put it on like a horseback carriage, and they drove it through the forest in the dead of winter.
That's just stupid. I'm sorry.
I mean, we're talking about gimmicks. You might
I
as
know,
well
but that's a stupid
throw
gimmick.
it out there.
That's a dumb gimmick. The only thing You talking about my house? Or you talking about your house? You talking about my
Either
house?
way.
No. I could so screw this shit up, but I'm not going to because I like Justin for the most part.
That's going to be on a shirt, a pull-out couch. Just a pull-out couch. No words, no nothing.
God.
What was the one you were going to bring up before we dive into any other ones?
So, and I don't know if it's a gimmick, but I see it, and I'm starting to see it more.
Okay.
The oak stick in the bottle.
That's called a
spire.
Spire, yes.
Yeah. Do you believe that's a gimmick, or do you believe it's...
No, because there's actually a company, and for the life of me, I can't remember the company, but I got sent a link one time. They make them in the shape of like 338 Lapuas, which is a rifle round. So, I mean, to me, that's more gimmicky than the actual spire itself.
Yeah. And it works. It does. On a barge and has river finished.
Wow.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
So, wait a minute. You're telling me if I can get some whiskey and get a barge and float that bitch down the Natchez, we can do...
Now, let's
I love it.
Let's admit this. I think what they're trying to do with whether it's Jefferson's Aged in
Oak
Ocean,
is the Spire.
Oak and Eden has the Spire whiskey.
Eden Oak, however.
Like what they're doing, O.Z. Tyler.
O.Z. Tyler.
A rick house on a barge.
Good Lord.
It goes into what I think they're trying to do.
Keyboard in hand, my friend Ryan's
I'm
getting
telling
it tonight.
you, he's on it.
Making me whirl, right?
I know, right?
So what I think the biggest advantage to something like that is the whiskey inside the barrel is able to touch more surface area. Because even whenever we had a conversation at Front Porch Distillery, the idea of a moving rick house,
Oh, that would, like a moving rick base, more
which
or less.
allows it to touch more of the barrel. It allows more surface area. It allows a little bit of movement to get it in and out of the wood. I think that's the biggest advantage of it, so that it's touching more. But for somebody to look at me and say, yeah, it tastes like salted sea salt ocean, whenever they're talking about Jefferson's Aged in Ocean.
I don't get that on Jefferson's. I'll be honest.
Aged at Sea, that's a mind game.
Oh, it's very much a mind game.
Now, to kind of go back to what you were talking about, the Spire, so there's companies like Interstave that are built solely on that premise.
Right.
Yeah.
They make like cubes, and they allow companies, and it started out as more of a wine thing, but they've ventured into the whiskey world. Mm-hmm. They allow for more rapid aging or rapid finishing. So Pursuit United just recently came out with the Oak Collection, which they worked with Interstave, and they did a French Oak bourbon. It's finished in French Oak and American Oak, but they use the cubes as their finishing product instead of putting it in a whole barrel.
Right.
So is it a gimmick? Yes. Is it a fun story? Yes. Does it work? Is it a functional gimmick? Yes.
Okay.
I mean, but I feel to be like kind of quote unquote successful in the game, you have to have, at least everybody has to have at least one kind of gimmick.
Yeah.
I agree. If you don't have a gimmick and a story and
it's marketability.
It's
you're very marketable at that point.
Very much.
So one of our viewers brought up, Lost Barrels. So there's a company called Orphan.
I don't understand how in the world you lose a barrel. Losing a barrel to me is like losing a kid. How do you do that?
A barrel for 20 to 25 years. So let's think about the alcohol industry as a whole. Mm-hmm. These barrels and these products are so taxed and so documented. Every barrel has a number on it. Every rick house has a diagram and a spreadsheet that I guarantee you they know exactly where every barrel is at all points in time.
Every barrel, every fire exit, every ventilation shaft, everything.
A barrel for 20 years.
I don't know if you do or not. I think that's a more or less a marketing ploy as well.
Now, could I walk into somewhere like Buffalo Trace and say, hey, what's the oldest barrel you got in here? And they tell me 22 years. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to give you $15,000 for it.
I'll tell you how you lose it. It's just like on the commercial where John Jameson and that gigantic eagle comes and swipes up the barrel, and then he has to go fight the eagle and kill it and get the barrel back. Like, that's how you lose it. It's a commercial.
It could happen.
Yeah.
You show me an eagle that can cart off a damn whiskey barrel.
It could happen.
It don't exist.
Or what's the big bird off of 5 Goes West? The big ass seagull or whatever it is.
That's a condor.
I don't know, but I haven't seen that show since I was like.
I know. I don't know why I immediately thought of that, but I bet that bird could pick up a barrel.
Oh yeah,
because you're a little kid with your little feet.
I am.
Yeah.
You're swinging your little legs.
Dana showed me a video and it was a guy sitting on a park bench, and he said, "How am I supposed to be taken seriously as a dad if my feet can't even touch the ground?" That's me.
You never seen that Kevin Hart episode where he's like, "I want to be a gangster." He said, "But look at this shit." And he like sits on the stool, and so he's like, "Ain't nobody gonna take me seriously."
Ain't nobody gonna take me seriously. I got little legs. So Lost Barrels is a fun one because that's just weird.
Oh, that's a good point.
I don't think you lose a barrel, but I think a distillery can believe they dumped an entire lot of barrels and missed one.
Makes sense. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because there is the human error factor, and when you,
yeah. I'm gonna step out real quick. You continue.
of course, you're
And,
gonna
and
step
my
out.
my question is
Okay.
like, so some of these distilleries, you know, they have all these barrels and they mark them, and you know, like you said, they're all labeled and they have paperwork and everything's in order.
Yeah.
I have to believe that some of these distilleries are like, hey, we should keep one of these back just for us.
I feel like that happens more. I feel like happens that more than what you think it
Yeah.
does. I'll be honest.
You know, and so maybe they take some of these barrels and they're like, hey, you know, we're not going to use this. Let's use it as like a special edition or something like that.
I could see that too.
You know?
I could see that coming into play for sure. I mean, because you always have those quote unquote. I know Snoop Dogg done been up in here, yeah.
Yeah.
So John's question, can you repeat your question? Being
Yeah,
his little bladder had to go outside.
You know, I was telling him, like, I have to believe that, you know, some of these, especially when they make these barrels and stuff, some of these distributors are like, hey, you know, like, let's keep a couple of these barrels back for ourselves. And so they keep them back, and then eventually they're like, well, we're not going to drink this barrel. Let's bring it out as a special edition.
Let's bring it out as a
something
lost
that.
barrel.
Yeah, as a lost barrel.
So I will 100% agree with you. I think you're
Apparently
you're
Ryan
correct.
100% agrees with John as
Thank
well.
you, Ryan, because that backs me
I
up.
got a lot of correct from the man.
So-
From the man.
I'm proud of that.
Well, and here's the other, and here's the and you're getting into kind of that dark side of whiskey,
Right.
because the other side of that is if you want
Conspiracy, baby.
to dig a little deeper, you could say that about liquor store owners too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I guarantee you,
Yeah.
you walk into the back office of the owner, you know, the owner's office or whatever, I can guarantee you there's probably 20 bottles of something like William LaRue Weller
Oh, yeah.
and Pappy Van Winkle and Weller 12 year.
We got both McGee's in the comments tonight. Did you see that? Both of them.
Holy moly!
We got both
Absolutely.
McGee's in
I
the
can see
comments.
some of the distilleries we have been
Yeah.
to.
I can
doing
see that too. I can see someone
But I mean,
doing that.
you
for
But
wanna-
sure.
yeah, if you
you
think,
wanna
if you
dive
think a
into
bottle
that-
shop owner isn't like, hey, I'm gonna,
Yeah,
you know,
and
take
all of a
this
sudden
back.
he's got a bookshelf full
Yeah.
of these whiskeys that realistically I feel like he should be releasing.
Right.
And not just keeping in the back, and all of a sudden now it's aged inventory, and we'll just write it off.
Then be rolling.
Then be rolling.
Perfect example. Then be rolling.
Especially when you're looking at like prohibition area type stuff.
Oh, yeah, for
like
sure.
1920s where you couldn't have that kind of stuff. Like, you know, these smugglers were like, hey, we're gonna put this.
We're gonna put this back.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that completely. I mean, and I can't say I don't blame him either, because I mean, I would be that type of guy. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely.
I would think about it, and
But is it fair to the consumer?
I mean, but think about it this way.
if you turned around and re-released it at a later date, yes, I think it's fair to the consumer, because it gives it a little more aging. You can say, hey, the whole oops, we misplaced one, or oops, I did it again, or however you want to refer to it. I feel like that would be a good marketing thing as well. You could say, oh, we didn't know this existed.
the
We
lost
found
barrel
it. The lost barrel out of batch number whatever, because there's several barrels in like a batch.
This is
right.
true.
And look at it from our perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
I agree.
take
I
us.
agree with what Ryan just said.
Yeah, with the whole inventory
It's-
control, it's a whole lot better now because it's more.
Yeah, but still, you have to think. 20 years ago wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, but-
and the Alcohol Control Board and TTB and the government. I
Yeah, but-
guarantee
yeah, but-
you, they
but prime
freaking knew
example,
20 years ago what you had.
People do illegal shit though.
But not just that. Not
You
here's,
burying it in the backyard.
not just that. Here's the biggest factor that I think both of y'all are kind of missing on a little bit. Every state's different
yeah.
as far as their alcohol laws and stuff like that.
Which,
I mean,
and
we've
I
talked
get
about
it.
it
I
before
understand.
ad nauseum.
I mean, none of us are arguing. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it indifferent? Is it?
No.
But at the end of the day, a lot of it's still a gimmick. It's the lost barrel of the original Pappy Van Winkle, Stitzel
Yes.
Weller.
Let me ask you this, okay? how long did we want to drink 18-year-old Jameson?
A long
And
time.
when did we actually finally give in and say, "Hey, we're going to get 18"?
This is it.
When you open the studio,
Right.
Yes, when we open the
So-
studio by 4.
we're doing the exact same thing they would do. Hey, we're going to wait until it's the appropriate
Right.
time to do this.
And the sad thing about it, we've been sitting on a half a bottle of it
I know
since
it.
July.
yeah,
I look at it all
and
the
you
time.
never drink it unless it's a special occasion.
FDA.
I don't think so.
They're probably all over this
The
video right now.
If I'm not mistaken, it's the TTB,
Yeah, it's
and there's
TABC
a.
Well,
in
TABC is
Texas,
a Texas.
it's
Yeah,
TABC,
TABC,
but
yeah.
I think the overall is TTB.
Right.
Now I could be wrong, Ronnie. I'm not quoting me or you on it. And if you Google it, fine. But I'm just saying the Lost Barrel thing it can be a little bit of a gimmick because let's just face it, you're not losing that many where a company can come out and as a strictly orphan barrel company where that's all they're doing is finding all these lost barrels and releasing all of these bottles of it.
Right. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Because on the flip side of it, Buffalo Trace, their distillery, as they continue to grow and as they break new ground in their area, they're continuously finding things that are legit buried in the ground.
Oh yeah,
Right.
for sure.
Just because it's been built up, it's
Yeah.
been torn down, it's,
Yep.
land grows over things.
I mean, you could.
So they're finding things. Now, is it barrels? Probably not. Is it cool artifacts and,
Right.
and things of that nature? Yeah.
I get it.
Let's see. What else
That
do
was a
we...
great conversation.
That was
I like
fun.
that.
La 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 la. So here's one that got mentioned in the comments too. Why is it that everybody's great great grandpa has a whiskey recipe?
Oh yeah.
My great great grandpa came out with this recipe, and I just happened to find it in a book in his house at this time, and
Mine didn't
his
have-
name was Judd-da-da-da,
Mine
and-
didn't have a whiskey recipe, but I can tell you right now there is a story that circulates in my family alone that during that Prohibition era, my actual grandfather was a bootlegger, and his car was seized by the revenuers.
Really? I mean, that's pretty cool.
But the way he got it back is even cooler, and I'll disclose that story off air. If somebody wants to hear it, they can more than say, "Hey, we want to hear the story." But for
So if
certain purposes, mine,
Muscadine wine.
okay,
Yeah. I
Well,
love
my
muscadine
grandpa
wine.
made muscadine
Yeah.
wine.
I think everybody's grandpa. That's something.
Is that a
literally-
Southeast Texas thing?
Well, I don't know because my mom's family is actually from like Central Louisiana,
Really?
so I know they made it.
I know people who made strawberry wine.
That and jelly too.
They were
Muscadine
17.
Oh my
jelly
God!
is yes.
On everything.
You've had some of the jellies
Yeah.
that come out of my family.
But I mean, we did the same thing. At
Alabama.
Abalaba.
Y'all
Yeah.
missed that whole reference.
Yeah. What?
I said I know somebody who made strawberry wine. They were 17.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
and a hot July moon. Yeah. Okay, just checking.
Lame.
I did the crickets on myself.
Lame.
The sad thing about it is, when Ford Park had their first concert at the Pavilion, she was there, and I saw her in concert. Now I'm gonna date myself a little
So
bit.
everybody. God dang. So everybody's great great grandpa had a recipe.
Yeah.
Why was it never the grandma?
Why wasn't ever the grandma?
but-
Because I feel the grandmas did most of the cooking back then.
Right.
Yeah.
But to play off of that a little bit, the historic stories of the person your whiskey is named after. Everyone loves a good story, but let's face it, not everyone's family has that story or made whiskey or whatever.
Right.
So here, let's just face it. They didn't. Not everybody's family has that story, but every whiskey company seems to have that story. So here's my question to you: Is it okay to just be honest and say, "Hey, I named it after my great grandpa who was a hard worker"?
I think
I
you could
think
be
so,
honest
yeah.
with that. I mean, like prime example, you and I talked about one on the phone today, George Remus.
Mm-hmm.
George Remus is named after a bootlegger. Like probably one of the top 5 historical bootleggers in all of history. Involving a snake? I'm going to have to talk to her about that when I see her. That's my sister-in-law, by the way. My mom has it.
A recipe for what?
Like for whiskey?
That involved
Because if you're making
Snake?
whiskey with snake, count me in.
Well, no. Time out. You can't. At that point, it's a liqueur, or I'm not really sure if it would even be classified as a liqueur because a whiskey has to be made from cereal grain. So what would you
Why
call
is
something
it-
made
Well,
of
you
snake?
can put the
look at-
grain
I mean-
in it. Just you could have snake
Snake oil?
It can be snake.
Well, then we could just call your mom.
You're using decayed algae. Why can't you use snake?
That's true. I mean, he does have a point. I mean, we're doing decaying moss for God's sakes when we get
I
peated.
smoked it with decay and snake
I'm gonna need to talk to my sister-in-law about that.
that
one,
I
'cause
caught with my bare hands.
That interests me a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I'll drink
Please.
anything that won't drink me first.
Dive into that one a little bit.
I will. I'll
Get
do
a
some
conversation
homework.
going on that. Do some homework, and let's reconvene next week, maybe.
Can
That's
we?
funny.
Can we make it? I'll
Right.
come pick it up.
How do we make it?
I'll pick it
Okay,
up on my way back
so
Sunday.
Here, okay. Let's flip the script a little bit. That's a big thing in Asian
Oh,
companies.
okay.
Countries, cool. That's really interesting.
It actually.
That's
is.
funny you say that because the scrub oak, in its entirety, actually there is poisonous for human consumption in large quantities.
Right.
Is this considered large quantities?
No, and it has to be like pure scrub oak. Like
What's the next comment on there? I gotta see we're getting some that.
Oh. What does Bucky know his favorite whiskey was Jack Daniels? That's not fair. Everybody. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No clappies.
Yes. Yes.
That's bullshit
Yes.
because everybody
Yes.
starts somewhere.
Yes.
Nobody started with buying bottles of Pappy Van Winkle,
Well, no.
and that's how you got into it. You start somewhere.
I'm sorry. I started with Wild Turkey, so
See?
Wild Turkey's a little bit better than
No,
Jack
it's
Daniels,
not.
my friend.
There's a reason Jack Daniels is like the #1 company.
Because there's a bunch of sheep in the world. That's
I
why it's the
started-
#1 company. Exactly.
I'm a bad motherfucker.
I'm looking at a sheep with a coiffed
my first
hairdo
beer.
right now.
remember my first beer.
That's a red line. I know where that one come from.
All right, so
Gimmicks.
gimmicks.
There's so many gimmicks.
I feel like we've put a little bit of a negative connotation on all of them.
No.
So let's flip the script a little bit. Stephanie actually had a
Yes.
really good positive one. So Bourbon 30, which is done by Jay Mattingly,
My Glencairn has disappeared.
he gone.
He
It's
gone.
just floating whiskey.
He gone.
Jay Mattingly and Bourbon 30.
Okay.
They do what I think is really cool, and Ryan and Stephanie have got to experience this. They allow you to come in and blend your own bottle.
Yes.
Which is, let's face it, it's still a gimmick,
Yes.
but it's a different experience.
Yeah, you do
So-
literally as many barrels as you can do, and then you pick your
right,
top
and you
barrels.
pick them and they blend them.
They blend.
It's a
those
different
3 barrels.
experience for people that have been on every or multiple bourbon whiskey distillery tours, where you're hearing the same thing over and over again. But then you walk into a place like Bourbon 30, and they're like, "Okay, we have 20 barrels. Start tasting and tell me what you like the most."
Right.
And then you get to walk out of there with a bottle that is made from the ones you liked the most, and you get to name it. So is it a gimmick? Yes. But is it fun, and is it a different experience for somebody that's, and especially somebody like Ryan, or if we were to walk in and do it, that's been doing this for a little while, and it's got what I would consider a good palate. Because I would consider, and I take everything Ryan says very seriously whenever it comes to whiskey, because I feel like he's got a good palate. So somebody for that, like that, to walk in and do that and to be able to blend their own whiskey, that's a fun experience that not a lot of people get to do.
Right. No, I get that. I mean, it's on my quote unquote bucket list. I want to make it to Bourbon 30 at some point.
But I mean, is that something more people would be interested in if it was more widely available?
I feel yes, number one. Because,
Or even something like tasting classes for a company like Pursuit United,
Yeah.
or Barrel Spirit Company,
yeah.
for them to do like a blending class.
Yep.
If you walked into it can't be a distillery because they're an NDP, a non-distilling producer. If you walked into a building, their business, and they were like, okay, at 1:30 we're doing a blending class.
To me, that's a little more gimmicky than what Bourbon 30 is doing, because Bourbon 30 actually kind of like they have like a bunch of different barrels.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know much about Pursuit United. That's more your wheelhouse than my wheelhouse. I would love the sheer experience of Bourbon 30 in its own right.
Pulling a thief,
Yes, pulling a thief.
tasting it,
Yes.
saying, okay, I like this about this one, this about this one.
Nice. Okay, a tasting course on a brand is an awesome idea. Look at us. We're fantastic.
I'm not saying I've got a marketing degree. I'm just saying if somebody would listen, they'd make some money.
If somebody would listen. Balconis, are you still listening? We need a liquor store to bring a wide line.
I would love that.
We know a guy.
I know a guy.
We know a guy. We're just saying we know a guy.
And I think I would be an awesome person for that role.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so here's a fun one.
Okay.
I saw recently there was a TikTok of a guy
I'm
out of
shocked there was a TikTok.
Louisiana.
Okay.
So it's right in our wheelhouse. He did because his family, and this is a fun backstory.
It wasn't Stell Cracker, was it?
No.
Okay.
So you want to get into like a fun backstory that maybe not so gimmicky?
Sure.
His family was rice farmers.
Okay.
He decided he wanted to try to make rice bourbon or whiskey. Sorry, rice.
That's got to
whiskey.
be better than the rice beer that's coming out of Lake Charles. That shit's
And
horrible.
I've seen a few other companies. I think Basil Hayden Toasted uses brown rice. So here, what are your thoughts on unusual grains? Rice, oats.
Well, I know after last week's show, I would love to see somebody do a sourdough whiskey because barley's the new sourdough.
Barley's the new sourdough. But I mean, there's some unusual grains that are making their way into
Yeah, because I
whiskeys.
mean, Mike mentioned one, and forgive me, I can't remember it, but there was a company that did one with quinoa.
Yeah.
Okay, that kind of interested me. I mean, you've had one of the kosher wheats from Buffalo Trace. That kind of interests me as well. So, I mean, for me, I kind of gravitate, like in my thing, I think, okay, who's doing something new
Different,
and innovative
innovative.
and using something that you wouldn't normally use.
Yeah, because there's a fine line between innovative and gimmick.
Right.
And you have to toe that line.
You have a bottle with an unusual grain? Okay. Bucky. Is it? It's
Rumble.
Not the, is it the will? Oh,
Rumble.
it's the Rumble. Okay.
Is that what the one you're talking about? No, it can't be.
No, because that's a mission fig.
That's a
number
mission
one.
fig, Texas
And
wildflower,
Texas wildflower honey.
honey, and
It's not the Willet, I don't think. Ryan,
help me.
Ryan, do tell, because we're a quiver with anticipation right now.
I'm trying to think. I'm like
Is
literally
it the
going
new
through my
one?
shelf.
Is it the new one that we may do?
Oh, French Lick. That's our Christmas bottle.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I asked if it's the new one that we're doing next week.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
For our Christmas episode,
Yes.
we are doing a Christmas present
Yes.
from Ryan.
French Lick.
French Lick.
Yes.
So we'll dive
I'm
into that one a
curious,
little bit.
Is French Lick from French Lick?
I have no. I've not dived into it at all.
You haven't dived into it?
Right. That's what I said.
Fuck, it's not. It's not even fucking close.
Yeah, we know.
We know. We were saving it for a special occasion, and Christmas is a special
Jeez.
occasion.
It's your Christmas present to us, Ryan.
Go,
Dang,
shorty.
Gina.
It's your birthday.
So here's my. This is the final one that I had written down. Aging. So quit it, Roy.
No.
Put it down.
I had that
Damn,
planned.
Gina.
I had that planned. I used the white side. I didn't.
I can't bring you nowhere.
You can. It's from Indiana. See,
Yeah,
French.
that's what I was saying.
Did we
No,
tell you
too.
what they should have named that? They should have named it Larry Bird Whiskey because Larry Bird is from French Lick,
Ryan,
Indiana.
Ryan, is that squib juice or is it like an actual Indiana?
It's from West
distillery?
Baden, Indiana.
Well,
But
he
is it-
said
well, I'm
French
ju-
Lick.
I'm just curious if it because he said Indiana. Is it bottled by that company or is
It's
it squib
distilled.
juice? Distilled by that
distilled.
company?
I'm still
in
laughing.
West
Put
Baden
it
Springs,
down.
Indiana.
Put it down.
Yeah,
Put it down.
All right, so the last one I have, aging, and I'm not going to name any names here, but everybody knows who they are. Blasting Music, Aged at Sea. I've said it earlier. Horseback carriage through the forest during winter, on a train from Indiana to Wyoming.
It's their own juice, apparently.
Okay.
Can we throw wood chips instead of wood barrels in that category with the whole aging thing? Because I feel
Yeah.
we have one that kind of
We can do that too.
that qualifies a
That
little
qualifies. And there's the whole rapid aging thing. We did it.
bit. That was the Tim Smith, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
with Mike.
Yeah.
The Tim Smith special
reserve.
They do the whole rapid aging thing. So that's kind of the last gimmick thing that I had written down. Do you feel like it makes a difference? Like, and unless you know
I
what,
feel like
let's
it
just
does.
say it.
I feel like
Blasting
it-
music, blasting Metallica music.
Well, I mean, there was speaking of, you want to get really. The fuck?
Hey, Cyclops.
There was another one that I sent you a thing on. There's a company, and for the life of me, I can't remember the company, that is actually putting a webcam in their barrel while it ages.
See, we almost did it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
That
We
was
were
part
going
of my
to
BFFs.
talk about that last week, but we kind of skipped it with the whole Mike Wright thing.
Hainer Distilling out of Ohio released a new whiskey experience. And it plays perfectly into everything we're talking about.
Yes,
you can
it
now
does.
purchase a barrel
Yes.
and watch it age via webcam.
Yes. They put
You
a
want to talk
webcam-
about watching paint dry? That takes it to a whole new level.
That takes it to
What's
a
the name
whole
of
new.
it?
Hainer Distilling.
Yeah, Haynard. I don't know how you spell it, but you have.
Hayner. And they're out of Ohio. But why?
That one, when I saw that for the life of me has to be the most
I've watched
gimmicky
paint
gimmick
dry.
ever.
I've watched paint dry.
Because I mean,
Have I ever watched whiskey age?
I would love to
No.
see, and still Austin, if you're listening by far, I would love to see somebody blast Stevie Ray Vaughan in a barrel and just run with it. Personally, my own personal preference.
Or some, Balcones. They could blast some ZZ Top.
Yeah, I mean, they could do that too. Balcones, if you're listening, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, remember when you do it.
Crapola, what's her name from here in Southeast Texas?
Oh, shit.
I'm going to ask you, and now you're not going to remember.
What is her name?
There's
Someone from
a
Ohio
museum.
State came up with that. Oh, well, in that case, that's stupid. Nobody likes
Sir, put some respect on it. The Ohio State.
No, asshole, because you don't put the University of Texas in front of it neither.
The Ohio State.
At Austin, mind you.
UT? You talking about Tennessee?
No, I'm talking. Speaking of Tennessee, let's talk about how Peyton Manning doesn't know jack shit about Tennessee whiskey.
What do you mean?
The only thing he knows
How you
about
figure?
Tennessee is he graduated from there. That's it.
But how you figure you don't know nothing about Tennessee
I don't
whiskey?
feel he does. Have you seen the forehead on that brother?
It holds a big brain, maybe. Football brain, at least.
Football brain, maybe not a whiskey brain. It holds a football brain. Janis Joplin, thank you.
Ryan. Jesus. Clifford Distilling could do a Janis Joplin finish.
They could blast Janis Joplin in a barrel with wood chips and make the wood chips vibrate and do all kind of crazy things with their whiskey. Preach! Look at it, preach! I don't know what I'm preaching about, but damn it, I'm preaching about
I'm not
something.
putting no respect on it, Texas, Bucky.
The hell you will, because they finished higher than Oklahoma did. I will cut your fucking
Throw a
hand
flag.
off.
Throw a flag. Give me a 15-yard penalty.
I don't have a flag.
Unsportsmanlike
I
conduct.
got something close to a flag here. Thrown.
Put it down, boy.
Put it down. Sir, I said put it down.
You lose. You get nothing.
I get everything. The world is mine. Nope. John's like, nope.
Nope, not today. F. Peyton Man. Wow.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Wow.
I agree with your boss on that. I agree with
can't-
Justin Allen on that.
How do you not put
can't
respect on
believe-
that man's name?
Because you could put respect on that man's name in the accolades that he did on the football field.
Correct.
And the fact that he thinks he knows whiskey all of a sudden, that's like saying John Rich knows whiskey, and we all know where that experiment
but-
went to.
Hey, Roy,
Yo.
do you know what time it is?
Bourbon 30?
No, it's 8:30 at Oklahoma. Still sucks.
Yes! That's where I was going.
I hate every one of you.
I
Every
hate
one
I
of
even
you.
have to say that to you.
Every
You
one of
forced
you.
my hand.
Every one of you.
Like I said,
I'm not even a Texas fan.
Jesus Christ himself is, though.
No, he's not.
Sunset's burning
University
orange.
of Bethlehem.
University of Bethlehem. 49-0. See, Justin. I love Justin. Yes. I love Justin Allen.
I
Fantastic.
don't even want to be here no more.
I love it.
So,
Oh,
what are your? So, since you brought it up,
okay.
what are your thoughts on this whole Sweetens Cove? Because if I'm not mistaken, they actually have a really, really respectable
So I'm going to tell you this, okay?
master blender or distiller or whatever.
To
it is,
me, and
Sweetens
you and
Cove
I
bourbon.
talked about that. We talked about this, but we didn't really talk about this.
Right.
So I'm gonna put Sweetens Cove on blast a little bit. Sweetens Cove initial offering is like $50 a bottle MSRP.
Yeah, so I found it today. So initially, I thought it was a $200 bottle.
Right.
Now there is a $200 bottle,
yeah, it's the Peyton Manning bottle.
but Their initial offering, which is really
You
weird to
mean-
me, it's finished in like maple something
Hang on a second.
wood finish.
Keep
Hey,
talking.
what part of Peyton Manning's forehead came up with the whole whiskey idea?
I don't
Because
think it
it's
did.
a very
I
large
think
forehead.
I think it was the fact that Sweetens Cove walked up to him and said, "Hey, we'll pay you a crap ton of money to
It was the
endorse our
Southeast
whiskey."
region.
I'm gonna say right now, that dude ain't got a forehead; he got a 5 head. Like,
Every bit of it.
Maybe even a 6 head. That thing's huge.
Okay, so it
That's
is
what she said.
Marianne Eves, a whiskey pioneer, Kentucky's first female master distiller, and just a wonderful lady. Proud of her work and her principles of quality and craftsmanship.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sorry. So to me, if you
Oh,
can,
shit.
so here's the thing.
Sheriff has always said something. Oh, hysterically funny. Hey, did you know Peyton Manning's hysterically funny?
I mean, I've seen the Manning cast. So I mean, him
I
and
watched
Eli
him-
together are pretty funny.
I watched him on. He was the host of the ESPYS one time. It was not bad. He was pretty funny.
I feel like there's got to be somebody else involved in this other than Peyton Manning, right? No.
So
it's just
first of
Peyton
all,
Manning.
Sweetens Cove makes a couple of different
They're calling it
offerings from
Tennessee.
Yeah, I saw
Tennessee.
that. Tennessee.
Kentucky,
which is Kentucky,
Tennessee.
Tennessee, which tells me
That's
it's
funny.
a blended, you know.
Peyton Manning, Sweeten Cove could impact bourbon boom.
Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like she's a very
I know
Kentucky's
who she
first
is.
female distiller.
I know who she is, and I cannot think of where she's or what she started. Or
See,
where
but
she's
that's
from.
the irritation there. So you said that. All right. So the Cove whiskey that it was a female distiller.
Yeah,
created.
wait a minute, what's her
Why
name?
are they not celebrating
Mary.
that instead of celebrating the fact that it's
Peyton Manning,
Peyton
I know,
Manning.
right?
Where did she start? Why do I know the name?
I don't know, but Marianne, if you're listening to this, which I doubt you seriously are, can you send us a bottle of Sweetens Cove? We will
Castle and
review it?
Key.
Okay.
Jesus.
So she came from Castle and Key then.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
That's. I agree, Ryan. Like it sounds like way too much hype.
Well, I mean,
It
you
sounds
put-
like way too much hype.
But at the same time, it's that and you want to talk about gimmicky? It's the celebrity aspect. You put Peyton Manning's name
Right.
on it. How many fans, whether Tennessee, Colts, or Broncos, are going to run out and buy that?
Right.
You put Ian Somerhalder name behind Brothers Bond. How many fans of Vampire Diaries or
so
whatever it
here's
was
the
are
thing
going
with
to run
that
out
one,
and buy
though.
that?
Right.
Well, wait a minute. Back up for a second. Here's the thing with the Brothers Bond thing. It's not just Ian Somerhalder.
It's the other guy.
Yes,
that
it's
played
the
his
other
brother
guy.
on the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's two celebrities. You put Matthew McConaughey's name behind Long Branch. How many Texas folks are going to run out and buy that?
I mean, we did.
Right.
I mean, I get.
But I mean, it goes
get
right along with
but
the
I mean,
gimmicky
it's-
thing.
But to me, like when you start getting in the realm of athletes, it gets. Yeah,
I remember trying it on the show.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It was not good.
Yeah, it's compared
King
to
Ranch
yeah
blows it out of the
King
water.
Ranch is way better. I will agree with that. You going to break it again?
Yeah.
Look at you.
It's that time of the night.
I just think that like athletes in general, like when they come to making whiskey and getting in onto it, I mean, okay, yeah, but I mean, at some point you're catering to a very specific audience because let's be honest, not everybody watches sports.
Well, I also think the idea is, and I doubt, and I could be wrong, but I doubt that any of these athletes have say in any of the process of actually making the whiskey. They're just throwing their name on a bottle, and like that's my thing. Like to me, I don't want to buy it because my big thing is if you're going to put your name on a bottle of whiskey, you better damn sure have something to do with
better
the
be damn
process.
So here's what I'm going to tell you. Okay, so Sweetens Cove 2022 released blended bourbon, which is supposed to be the one that Peyton Manning had collaboration on Drizzly.
Yeah.
Is anywhere between $200 and $275 a bottle. Okay,
And I can vouch for that. It
their
is-
Tennessee.
Shut up, Justin.
Is
yes, in fact, I had a blood test done, and yes, I am. Thank you, asshole.
I don't like that. I'm
Damn.
sorry. I'm gonna defend you in this one, Justin. Can we mute Justin?
There's
He's like,
Don't do that.
We do it next.
Not even for that reason. Don't do that.
a diabetic in the room.
Yeah, John's diabetic.
Justin's diabetic.
Oh,
Okay.
It's kind of like I'm fat. I can make fat jokes.
Okay, that makes
He's diabetic. He can make
a little
diabetic
more.
jokes.
I didn't know that.
But
That makes a little more
in fact,
sense.
If we're gonna talk about it, I had a doctor's appointment yesterday to figure out what the heck's going on with my neck.
I'm curious
I
to see what he said because I know he said something.
I have bulging discs.
Yeah.
I'm defending you, Justin.
I did not know that at the time.
I'm defending you, Justin.
I went with what I had.
I know. I have bulging discs C4 through 7. That's what's causing my neck pain.
right.
We also did some blood work just to verify that it wasn't anything crazy
Right.
within me. Yeah, and yes, I tested right at the line of pre-diabetic. I have a vitamin D deficiency.
Right.
So if you want to get a little personal on the show, that's my recent encounter. So
I drank too much.
I'm going for physical therapy over the next few weeks. See where that leads me, and if that doesn't help, I will be going for
the
therapy.
disc a surgical procedure?
Well, and if the physical therapy doesn't fix anything, and I continue to have pain and can't sleep, surgery is the next option.
Oh, okay. Well,
So-
I really hope it doesn't come to that.
I don't want
No.
to have surgery,
Hopefully,
but
therapy can fix it.
because anything with the neck and back scares the shit out of me. I'm not going to lie to everybody.
Right.
You'll be all right. As a guy who. You want me to? I'm not.
Justin Allen is my new best friend.
I'm not defending that one. You're on your own with that one. I'm curious on how he would know that, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, y'all do work together. There's a lot of long hours and late nights. I mean, I get it, but
I mean, parts and service departments takes it all the time.
apparently,
I shouldn't have a D deficiency at all if that's the case.
no. Just bite the pillow, Bucky.
Bite the pillow.
Just bite the pillow.
Oh, shit.
Oh, good time.
Why do you watch this show?
You watch, Justin.
You watch.
Bucky's gonna get a phone call tomorrow. You be like, can you
Hey.
believe what that fat asshole said to
Can
me?
we talk about the fact that that's cool though because your boss is supporting you? That's really neat.
No, and I told him today I
give him an
appreciate it.
applause for that.
Because, and I'll say it on here. I mean, I'm not afraid to admit, me and Justin's been through a lot. We've worked together for a few years, and before I left today, because I am off next week, and he's going on a cruise. But I told him today, I appreciate everything. When it comes to us, it's been an up and down road, especially this past year. We had our differences. We had a couple run-ins. There was a time where I thought I might be leaving Texas Marine, which was a scary thought.
Oh, you were talking about you and Justin. I was like, where are you
Yeah,
going
no.
with
Me
this?
and Justin, and it was just one of those things where you look at somebody as your boss, as a mentor, as a person that's been there for you, and you respect that person. And you tell him you appreciate him.
Let me tell you about my best friend.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. Well, no, I'm not saying
But
that.
I mean, it's that kind of, and like you said, he's watching the show, he's supporting.
Yeah,
That's cool. And I mean, people were.
I'm gonna let you know my boss would never watch this show. Like straight up.
My bosses doesn't even watch this.
Yeah.
Now some of the warehouse guys watch it on the replay.
Hell yeah.
But
Yeah.
my boss would never watch the show.
But
My boss refers to me as half neck.
this
Says I'm half
so
redneck.
to kind of expand on that, this experience, like growing with this show. Love you too, buddy. This experience, and the growth that we've had,
Buckster.
has been really cool.
I like it.
So, one of the new guys we hired, Matt, he watches the show also, and he's started to try to grow in his whiskey venture, and he's been really fun to deal with in the fact that he listens to what you say, and the first time me and him hung out not at work, I brought a Glencairn with me so that he could legitimately try whiskey for the first time,
Yeah.
and to see it kind of click. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, especially when you use the quote unquote whiskey glass of all whiskey glasses.
Right. So to see his whiskey journey has been really fun because now he's starting to talk about, man, I had the Four Roses this and
Well, I'm not
I was
gonna lie.
doing that.
If you and your coworkers want to get in on a cigar journey, I may be at Longhorn in the morning.
So everything he just said, I got that visual in my head of the movie Ratatouille when he's showing his brother
the differences between
Yeah.
eating and actually eating garbage.
Yeah.
And you see like the flavor notes and stuff popping in the
Yes.
head.
Right.
So,
But that's
like,
what's really fun about it. And like I said earlier, doing the whiskey tasting with everybody at work, just to kind of see
Yeah.
things and the way they react, it's really fun. But to go into a little bit of what you were saying, you're going to be at where tomorrow?
I hear I'm going to be at Longhorn in the morning.
Are you coming, sir?
I should be there for a little bit. I mean, I've got a prior engagement at some point, but
Right.
I feel like I make an appearance.
Good. I want you to be there.
If anybody wants to come pick my cigar brain, they're more than welcome
Yeah,
to.
so we'll have Roy there. He's made it official on the show. Longhorn Liquor tomorrow is doing a store pick drop of Balcones. It is 2 different versions of the True Blue, and then the single malt, which is finished in tequila cask that we tried last week.
Yeah, is it the Prohibita or is it the other one?
No. It was the single. I think it was the single malt finished into ex tequila cask.
I figured out how Mike does this finally. I've
Did
been
you?
working on it all episode.
So can you maybe explain how a store drop works?
So a store drop, from what I understand, is
There may be a few surprises in there also.
Yeah, there's stores that get certain shipments, and they decide to do a drop on them. Some of them may be store pick, some of them may not.
Right. So there's another liquor store in Southeast Texas, and they've actually there was some not so good comments on their video whenever they released it. They're doing a drop of a few different Buffalo Trace products.
Oh, I saw that
Along
one.
with some Elijah Craig products.
I know who you're talking about.
There was some not so good comments, but that's a fun drop because Weller, they're doing like 12-year Weller Full Proof.
I saw some
Elijah
Eagle-
Craig
Eagle
Barrel
Rare was
Proof,
in there
Eagle
as well.
Rare.
Yeah.
So that's a fun drop just because those are, and especially the 12 years one I'm trying to get my hands on.
Right.
So that's a fun drop for that. Now what Longhorn Liquor is doing is barrel pick drops.
Yes.
So they actually went to Balcones.
Yes, it's stuff
And did
that they
barrel.
actually
They
picked
tasted
theirself.
certain things and said, okay, this is what we want.
Right.
So they got that barrel.
Okay.
And they do X number of bottles out of the barrel. And Longhorn Liquor is able to do drops when that is finally ready.
So what time we got to be there in the morning?
Me and Ryan are meeting up at 9,
Okay.
and then we'll head to Lumberton. So I'll have, let me pull it up real quick. Roy.
John.
if you don't mind, tag Longhorn Liquor in this one.
I will.
Because I would love for everybody to be out there. I'm going to probably try to go live.
Okay.
Just for a few minutes, just to let everybody see what's going
Just the
on out
main
there.
the main Longhorn Liquor,
Longhorn Liquor.
because I don't think Lumberton
So
has its own.
this one is actually really
page.
fun, and they released it today. So I'll go ahead and announce it on the show. In addition to the Balcones single barrel selections, they're doing a Maker's Mark selection.
I saw that one.
A
yeah.
Four Roses
I saw that
selection
one too.
and an Eagle Rare store
I saw
select.
the Eagle Rare one too. That
so
kinda
that's
interested me
exciting.
a little bit.
Because initially they hadn't released it. It was first just the 3 Balcones.
Right.
So now that they've released it, I'll go ahead and say it on air because I said there was going to be a few surprises. If you can be out there, that'd be awesome. But Longhorn Liquor is doing store picks released tomorrow.
Can we do surprises?
No, we cannot. Put it down, Roy. If you're going to be out there for it, it is going to be the Lumberton location, Beaumont location on Dallin, Mont Bellevue, Katy, and Heights.
That's Houston Heights.
Houston Heights, Katy, Mont Bellevue, Beaumont, and Lumberton.
But if you want to see your boys,
If you're going to see your boys
We're
and you're
gonna be
going to
in
meet us out
Lumberton.
there, I keep forgetting I don't have camera view over here.
Uh-oh.
Going to see your boys. Come out and check us out. We're going to be out there. Say hi. We'd love to see everybody out there. We're going to be at Lumberton.
yes, we'll be at Lumberton
That's
with our super fan Ryan McGee.
Yeah, for sure.
Super fan and show confidant. I feel like he's almost a consigliere at this point.
Is he like a
Yeah.
brand rep?
Could be. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That's one of the good things about having friends.
For sure, for sure.
But
But I think that kind of pretty much does it for
yeah, because
tonight.
I don't have a Fab Four.
We
Unfortunately,
really didn't come up with
we
a
didn't
Fab
come
Four
up
for
with
this
it.
evening.
I had to. I had surprise Christmas parties and crap like that. So got a funny one.
You got one?
I do have one. Are we going to that? Is that where we're at?
Are we?
Yeah.
You make the call. I've done all my gimmicks. I made the Longhorn Liquor announcement that I wanted to.
We can get it.
Hit the button, buddy.
Hit the button.
Let's go!
A banana has 105 calories. A shot of whiskey has 80 calories. Choose wisely.
Did the third monkey come up with that one?
I think he did actually. He and I texted each other earlier in the day. He said, "Hey, I got a last call for you tonight."
All right, so real quick, let's just reiterate. For those that are local, Lumberton and Beaumont are doing the Longhorn Liquor store select drops tomorrow.
Yep.
Make sure to check out our merch. We've still got the sale going on.
Yep.
Nothing's marked up. We're not doing anything.
And just
You're
so they
previewing
know,
it. You're trying so hard. It is functionyourway.live.
you are doing a Christmas show next week.
Yes,
Yes.
we
Okay.
will be live next week.
Yes.
With Christmas being on the weekend,
Christmas is on a Sunday this year, so
we're both off
Yes.
pretty much at that point.
yes, I will. Yeah.
We're gonna do a show next week. Y'all tune in. We're gonna have a little bit of fun. It's just gonna be a laid back, chill show.
Yep.
It'll probably be a little bit of a BS episode.
Probably.
Just a little bit of Christmas spirit, and it's called whiskey.
Yep.
But functionyourway.live for the merch. We've
Yep.
got some really cool stuff up there, especially for Christmas. You're pretty much getting to the point where you may or may not get it before Christmas. Quit it. Put it down, Roy. January 7th is the 2022 Southeast Texas Whiskey Fest.
Yes, it is.
Which you can find the thing that Roy continues to hold up in his hand.
Maybe. We don't
We'll
know.
be out there.
Dun, dun, dun.
We've pretty much gotten confirmation that we're going to be going live pre-show.
Yes.
So you're going to be able to see setup. We're going to get some exclusive interviews
Yes.
with a lot of great people in the whiskey industry. There's going to be a
Yes.
ton of vendors out there.
Yes.
That's going to be a super fun show.
Yes.
It's going to be a Saturday, not a Friday that week. We're going to have a ton of fun. We're going to watch everybody set up.
Justin, really? No. God dog it. I mean, no.
Hey,
Unfortunately, no.
Justin, if you and your business ever want to sponsor our show, we would love to have merch out at every event we do.
Yes.
But until then, we'll figure it out. Not to say that you need to, but we'll figure that out later. So
Yeah, you do. You definitely need to. And I don't even work for you. Come on, man.
so
Just kidding, dude. I love you.
as we go into the new year, because it's only a couple weeks away,
Yes, it is.
y'all be sure to tune in to the at Function Your Way Facebook, because we're going to be releasing a lot of new information. We're going to be going into Southeast Texas Whiskey Festival hot. I mean, we've got plans. We've got stuff coming in. We've got stuff that we're planning on doing. We're going to be live before the event. We're going to be live at the event. We're going to go. We've got a post show or post Whiskey Fest show planned as of right now with a special guest that will be a second time special guest.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully that comes to
Forgot about that
fruition,
one.
and we're going to recap everything. Stay tuned. Look at the Facebook. Look at the YouTube. Check out our merch. We're doing it, and we're coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
Hazmat hot. 140 plus proof.
Hot with a side of bacon or just hazmat hot?
Hazmat hot.
Okay.
Hazmat hot.
It's 140 proof.
Gotcha.
But that's all I got.
That's all I got. Take us out, producer man.
Hit the button.
My tongue get what I deserve. Trendsetter, I got style for you. Ain't seen you at the top, it's been a while for you. Big you up and they look down on you.